This is the Spirit and Wellness Show. News and information from a higher perspective. With your host, Harry Wilkinson.
Yes, hello. This is your host, Harry Wilkinson, and welcome to the Spirit and Wellness Show. This is the show where we take a look at the days and weeks events, happenings in the world of politics, finance, international news, everything that affects our lives or that we feel affects our lives. And we take a look at it from a higher perspective. What that means is we take a step back and we look at what we are creating in the world and how we are creating it and perhaps why. I come from a metaphysical perspective, so I'm always adding that kind of thought to it, that we are creating the world around us like a hologram or a virtual reality gamescape, if you will, in which we get to experience thoughts, feelings, activities, an entire world that is our own creation, and that the truth of us, what and who we really are, is far beyond that game. We are so much more than we understand ourselves to be when we come from that perspective of the, in the game mind in which we play out our everyday lives. And so it's helpful to be able to remember that when you feel like you're being bombarded by stories of negativity, when you feel as if the world has become this unmanageable, terrifying place. It's helpful to remember who and what we are. And who and what we are is, I call it divine mind. It's our oneness, our unique connection, if you will. So when we create a story that galvanizes attention for everybody, we're telling ourselves something. We are exploring something. We are reminding each other of something. This often happens when we have, tragedies of the nature of the earthquake that happened on, I believe it was Wednesday, where so many people lost their physical, lives. We connect, we galvanize around that, and we realize our oneness, and hopefully we also realize that those who are not physically present anymore are still in our lives, are still connected. And a lot of that depends on the belief system that you have bought into, or that you've learned and accepted, as to whether or not that comforts you or not. I'm a firm believer that part of the sort of virtual reality game that we're playing involves choosing a mindset, a set of beliefs, and that's part of the game, and then through that you either change or you don't. But it's part of what we created for ourselves to experience. And each person, does that a bit differently. So, that being said, we're going to go back and talk about a theme that I've been using on the show for, I guess, over a year now. Not sure how long. I have to go back and check that. But we took a break for it last week to focus on more of our wellness issues, which sometimes don't get enough attention because there are so many other things going on in the world that need, discussion. But we'll get back to bringing more wellness information into the show as well. But today we're going to talk about the transition era again. Now, the transition era, for those of you who are new to the show, is what I'm calling the time we're living in now. It's a period that really was kicked off by some events and astrological alignments that occurred beginning in, I believe, 2012 and continued throughout 2015 and launching us into an era in which there is rapid change in all areas of our existence. Everything from the way that we do business to the way that we deliver healthcare to what we're going to talk about today, which is education. But most important is we're changing the way we see the world. And that's being fueled by two things: technology, the ever-increasing ability of our technology to connect us in amazing ways and help us to interact and learn and gather knowledge that in ways that we have never had before. And of course, I'm talking about, Web 2.0, the internet. I'm talking about, tablets and all of those things that have created a new world. Even things like Facebook, where you now are connected to more people probably than you ever have been before or were aware of being connected with. It used to be before Facebook, you went to, elementary school or high school and you had a life with those people and then you moved on. And, rarely would you ever come in contact with those people again. Well, now they stay with you, they stay with you. If you want them to, they can stay with you your entire life via Facebook. So, all of those things have created have fueled this transition era, I believe, that we live in. And the other thing are new scientific breakthroughs and worldviews. Science is getting closer to an understanding of the universe that more closely resembles the perspective of the mystic than of the traditional scientist. And the reason that's happening is the breakthroughs that have happened in quantum physics, where we're understanding that we are creating a lot more than we understood before, and that our existence our world is not as cut and dried as we thought. That waves of energy and thought patterns influence much more than we ever thought. So, that being said, these are the things that are fueling the transition era and ultimately changing our awareness, our consciousness, and that's what's really transitioning and changing. So today, I'm going to talk about education and how that's changing in the transition era and what we can see going forward. So, the traditional approach to education has been a focus on numbers, grades, the IQ tests and that sorts of thing. And there's always debates, in the political arena. That shows, American children are lagging behind in their scores compared to children in China or children in Korea or wherever else. And it's that always sparks a new kind of initiative to get schools in better shape. So you have things like a few years back it was No Child Left Behind, in which the intention was to sort of streamline an approach to education and to uplift schools that were lagging behind. And now I believe it's I think it's Race to the Top or whatever it is that President Obama has put into place. Similar kind of approach. But again, the focus is still on grades, test scores. And now with standardized tests, it's even more numbers oriented. Students, elementary students are being tested much more than when I was in elementary school. I mean, we had standardized tests maybe once every couple of years. Now every year there's a battery of tests, and in many cases, funding for public schools depends on how well these students do, how well students in the school perform on these tests. And there's beginning to be, there has been for quite a while, an outcry against this. That this focus on numbers to the exclusion of all else is not only not helpful, it's not education. And so we're beginning to take a different look at what does education mean. Now, on top of it all, is this debate that's been going on, about higher education, college. Now, on one side, recently with the election and Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton talking about a vision for free education, free college for anyone who wants it. That's sparking a debate. But there's also been the debate that is college helpful? Do you really need college? Is it worth it because of the huge amount of debt that students go into to get into college? And is it being cost effective? Is it, are you getting your money's worth? Are you able to get a better job? That kind of thing. And that's how we've been looking at college, and many people have been saying that, it's better to go to a trade school or something. You get more out of your money from that. And you can be in and out and working, in a couple of years. But that's the mindset that's been, that college is supposed to be, a degree is supposed to be a sign that you're ready to join the workforce, and that's all college is supposed to be. It's supposed to just, get you ready to be out in the world in the workforce. And if you're not getting jobs, that